go. All right. Good afternoon and happy new year to you all. Welcome to this monthly session, our monthly master class at NP Financials. I hope the new year started well with all of you. As usual, we'll be starting with general financial product advice warning. And before this, you have already confirmed me that you can hear me and you can see my screen. NP Financials Pty Limited, NP Financials and NPF advises all service recipients of the following. This information is provided only on general financial product advice basis. This is only educational in nature. Trading securities, derivatives, CFDs, foreign exchange contracts can be risky and is not suitable for all. No information received from NP Financial shall be considered as a financial trading recommendation. I'll give 15 more seconds to go through this, and then we'll start our class. When you're done, let me know.
All good.
All good? Fantastic. Thank you. And today also we have the privilege having our behavioral brain scientist Kerry Brown with us. She will be taking us through from 4 p.m. to 5. And then the first master class he took was extremely good, and we got feedback from all across the participants who are actually there online, or who actually listen to her through our recording, sharing, because they are our members. All of them are so pleased with Kerry's lecture that day, because of her clarity and because of her pace of understanding traders as a community and matching her knowledge and expertise to a trading community like us. So that was wonderfully done, Kerry, and we are extremely glad that you have actually given your kind consent to speak to us again for 1 hour. And as I told you before, and we'll be giving a formal email to you, all of you also, that anyone who needs any personal advice on the guidance or any psychological help can directly contact Kerry. We need not be copied into that. We'll be sharing her email address and phone number, and then she'll definitely help you. All right, so with this in mind, what we'll do, we'll start with our sessions today, and we'll go through most of the asset classes and most of the instruments. Of course, in the meantime, myself and Marty, our senior trader, will be sharing our observations for the last 1 month from the market perspective. And after that, Kerry will take over. But in the meantime, whenever you have any questions, you can actually send through the chat here on the Google Meet, or you can unmute your mic and talk, or you can send to support@npfinancials.com.au. All right, so the first one, you can stop me anytime and ask your questions. The first one I'm interested in taking you through is the gold, which, as per our understanding at NP Financials, is probably going to go up and touch around 1921. So let's see what gold is doing from the monthly perspective or the yearly perspective. From the yearly perspective, as we can see, the all-time high of gold before the much before the COVID crisis, actually in 2011, just after the GFC recovered, the it was 1921.2 in the year 2011, and then from that 1921.2, it came down heavily to 1046.5, as you can see, and that was 45%, 45.53. And from the all-time low, I think, of gold, which is here, from the all-time low of if I go right click on this ruler and configure and ask the computer to show me the date and price, it will show me the date and price on the y-axis as well. So the all-time low was 254 in 1999, and then 1999 and that's the time when I personally after I think after just 1 year we are out of India. So 1999, I don't know about Sri, when did you come abroad, Sri? 1999 to 11. So for 13 years it went up 659% from 254 to 1921.2. This number I cannot ever forget, this 1921. And after the all-time high, it came down 45% on the scale. But if you do a Fibonacci, it will be actually 50%, exact 50%. So when I do this all-time low of 254 to all-time at that time 1921, you can see the exact 50% magic of Fibonacci. Exact 50% if I ask the computer to show me the price, display price, and it will show the 50% was at 1087.1, and gold came down and closed on this fellow. Let me display and then go do the cursor details, and then it will show me the cursor details. Yeah, cursor details, it is coming here. So let me bring that here. So this is the cursor details, and if I have to see this, the close of this one is 1061.4, and the 50% was 1087.1. So when we see this type of bar, when the close is near to the low and it is appearing at a support, at NP Financials we have given a name to it. And what is it? Anyone?
All sellers out.
Crack and snap.
All sellers out.
All sellers out. Fantastic. Most of you said all sellers out, 100 out of 100. And Venkat has also said crack and snap back. Yeah. So whenever we see this type of bars at a support, we say, and we have seen thousands of times, not 1 2 3 4 100 200, but thousands of times, when this type of bar appears near a support, which is extremely important support, 50% fall in gold. Why it is so crucial? Because gold is such a commodity. We cannot manipulate it, we cannot overproduce it, we cannot even produce it much. No new gold mine, to my knowledge, I don't know about you, no new gold mine has been discovered. So discovered in recent past. Last one was discovered maybe by Chalice Mining in Australia. I'm only talking about Australia. And the share price of Chalice went up thousands of percent. So yeah, when they discovered, that is the meaning of discover. That means gold was found for the first time at that place. Anyone bought shares of Chalice, CHALICE? Ben or anyone? Marty, anyone?
No, afraid not.
Yeah, you remember that Chalice, don't you? I'll just show you that.
Yeah.
Chalice Mining, CHN is the and if you can see, when they discovered, just before their discovery, gold was here. CHN was here just before the discovery. High price was 23 cents, and after the discovery it went up from 23 cents. That is the meaning of discovery. For 23 cents to, it went up 10.48. So that's a jump of 4,557%. So humongous, isn't it? So that's what happened for Chalice and the gold discovery in their one of their mining. But as such, that's why the gold is the most precious metal. So of course platinum and all those things are there. But when we see this type of retracement or pullback of a commodity like gold, we immediately, as Venkatesh said, we expect this to crack and snap back. So it cracked the 50% support at 1087.1. and then snap back immediately, and then rest is history. It went up and tried to cross and close above 1921.2. As you can see, that is the purpose, that is the power, that is the power of previous support and resistance. And gold exactly stopped there again with the all sellers, or sorry, all buyers out. See this repetition here, exactly all sellers out, exactly all buyers out. And that happened in 2020, maybe because of let me go to the monthly view. Maybe because of COVID or something like that, it could not, or did actually, it did close above the 1921 in July. So gold as such has nothing to do with COVID. So COVID a little came down March 2020, and then again went up and challenged the all-time low of 1921, and then did a crack and snap back there also. So this is the crack and snap back, and made an all-time high again of 2075.3. And from that 2075.3 which gold made on this one August 20, it came down recent past, as you all know, 22%. If you can relate this 22.18, if you can relate this 22.18 to the previous fall of 45%, can you sense something? It's just the 50% of this 45%, isn't it? So this is 22.18, and this was 45.53. So 45.53, it came down heavily, and this time it is coming 22.18, which is very close to the 50% of this 45. 45 divided by 2 is almost 22.5. Yeah. So that was the yearly view, and then we have the monthly view of gold, which got a crack and snap back here again on this 23.6% Fibonacci level. That is the power of Fibonacci. Those of you who are practicing, and Ben is one of them. I favor the no, not to do with anything, but I favor the uh, person, or the individuals who is actually putting all his effort, or whatever it takes to be a trader. So Ben and all of you, Sri has done, Marty has done, now we, and then Venkatas has done, and then Sri has, and then Ben is doing now. The Mauricio has done. Yeah, so if you do whatever it takes, then you'll understand automatically what is happening and what can happen. So this is a crack and snapback on the 23.6%. 23.6%, and from that we are seeing a surge in the demand side of gold, which is buying. So as we can see here, that was a double bottom, the classic triple bottom, although this low is probably the lowest, which is 1615, and this is very close, 1617.3, this is 16.8. So that was very close, and that was very close. And if you see
Uh,
the head and
Sir,
shoulder,
can we take it as a class A double bottom?
class A double bottom, and from where, from here to here, or from to here to here, yeah. So if
Yes.
you, Girija is asking a question, I hope everyone understood.
This is not class A, but yes,
Yeah,
this is the
this
one.
is class A.
Yes.
So this is class A double bottom, and from that double bottom, and also from that double bottom, we can also have head and shoulder, because that was the
Hmm.
lowest, and then after that we had this high, which is this one. We'll draw a line from here to here, or we
Yes.
can even draw this line from here to here, and in between, so this is the head and the right shoulder and the left shoulder. So
Uh,
as you can see here, so this was the head here, and I can type in here head, and this is the left shoulder, and sorry, my mistake, I'm confused between left and right, and now this is the left shoulder. And so this is the name between the head and the left shoulder. This is the swing high, as you can see, swing high, and between head and right shoulder, this is the swing high, show swing high. So our job is to join from the swing high to the swing high, and I join with this swing high to this swing high, which is the highest, here. Yeah. And then we have two targets. So what are the targets? The two targets we have now is from the double bottom, which Girija said, from here to here, from the highest point to this one, and the second one is from this swing low. Let me take that point out, otherwise it will create problem. So we'll take the point out here, and then we'll draw this point from here, from this head lowest swing high to this neckline. This is the neckline. So we have two. One will do the in the solid, which is on the head and shoulder, and then copy that line, copy that head and shoulder, and break up this line, which we have a target here, 1808, which gold was trying at that time, 1808. And from this one, if we copy this, and paste it here, then the second target, from the not second target, but from the double bottom target, it will be around 1947. As you can see, if I can draw this one, roughly around 1956. So let's see what happened to gold after that. It reached the head and shoulder target here, 1808. Up to this point, everyone is all right. Do you have any question on so whatever so far we have discussed?
Yeah,
All
very
good,
good.
Pastor.
Everything are fine? Anyone is having any question? No question, so everyone understood. And then what happened after that? It struggled with the 1808 line, because that was the previous swing high, and it will always struggle. When gold is going from here, we have a saying that it can break one, it cannot break two, from the swing high to swing high, or it can break one on the lowest bearish one here, bearish bar here, and this one is second one. It can break one, it cannot break two, but everything has been broken. But the last one which has not broken is the swing high. The first swing high was here, and the second swing high was there. Is it, or if I consider this as the last one, I think this is the first one and second one, and this is the third one. But any which way, it struggled with the major swing high here for 4 weeks, which is 1 month. And after that, this type of, when it is breaking like this, there is very little probability that it will do a crack and snapback. It may, of course it can, but look at this proximity of this open and low of this bar with this swing high 1808, and look at the distance of the close, which is 1824 from 1808. So that is 160 points, because gold we go up to one decimal place. And then again, as I told you, there is very little probability. I was not remembering what is the bar coming, but we saw from our experience, there is very little probability it will do a crack and snapback, and it went up. And it went up to this one, monthly resistance. And if I ask the computer to the display price, it will show me the display price as 1871.9. Now this type of bar can be all buyers out at time. So I don't know the right hand exact structure of the right hand bar, but 1871.9, from our experience, we can say this type of bar, which is the close, is very near to the high. What is this name of the bar at NP Financials?
So
All
this
buyers
is all
out.
buyers out.
All buyers out. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you are remembering all these things, because these small little things will make or mar us as a trader. So this can be all possible, all buyers out, and there is a possible, if not complete selling, but at least profit booking, because the people who are buying from here are running a tremendous profit. People who are buying from this neckline break from here, they are running at the profit of 1,896 points in gold, multiplied by 100 points a point. That is a humongous profit. So they can book their profit, seeing this resistance, and seeing this here, there are three devils here. One is the monthly, one is the weekly, and one is the other one weekly here. And look at this weekly devils here. I can draw actually, because gold is the first, the only thing which I am concentrating now, because none of them are doing anything, neither Bitcoin, not Ether, not Tesla, nor Apple. None of them is doing anything. So neither dollar index. So only the instrument which I'm mostly focusing now for future growth from this break of head and shoulder around 1680 till date is gold. So if we are so focused about one instrument out of the millions of instruments possibly, or thousands of tens of thousands of instruments, then we should be very serious. So seriousness means we should be drawing, it's not rocket science. Seriousness means we should be drawing all the support resistance. I have drawn from one from the monthly, and one from the weekly, and one from this one here on the weekly. And out of that we can see that if the price has to go up, four things has to happen. Let's see what happened. And this is the last bar which closed on the 9th of 6th of January, which was started on this bar on 2nd, which is the Monday, and completed on 6th, because this is the weekly. So two things can happen on the next weeks, which is coming this way. So either it will be all buyers out and there will be a little bit of profit, and if the little bit of profit is breaking 1 and 2, now this is 1 and this is 2, if gold is going below this low, which is 1797, then we'll have another downside to that. So that is possible analysis. Marty can show us his Elliott wave analysis. That's what makes a market. Some analysis shows us something, but whatever analysis and practice task which is making your life easy and making money, that is the holy grail. That is the holy grail. So the next one, the last one which I'll be doing in this gold is the daily chart. So on the daily chart, what we can see, same thing happening here. It came down as I told you, we are continuously buying, and from last these are the last month's bought position, one here, one there, this one here, and then this one here. I don't know why we did not buy, because it broke one and broke two. Maybe we did not buy that way. And this one, this is fifth buy, and this is the sixth buy. So when you are running the heavily loaded, so you spend some time. That's what I did. All right. So do you have any question on this gold or any other instrument? How many of you are considering gold as a good investment in the inflationary situation? Especially when the dollar index is not doing much. Because dollar index cannot do much in our understanding. Now if we okay, I'll give you a few seconds to ask questions on gold, otherwise I'll go to dollar index, because these are the two or three of them. If you understand gold, dollar index, S&P 500, you understand the whole, entire financial world. I think all of you are in holiday mood, is it? Huh? Or anyone, any question means what? Any observation says no bullshit, I'm going to go short here. You
All
can
I
say.
was just checking that as per the trend line, it looks like it will go up, but we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Girija. At least you said my life. You said that. Yeah. So I'll continue to draw these 10 lines as this. So now
Yes.
it can break 1, 2, 3. That'll be a difficult task. Anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Parther, I'm curious where you got the 1871 from. I was got the same sort of line drawn, but mine's sitting at 1875 and 1877, unless I've got a slightly different chart.
Actually, that's a precarious pick, I think. Yeah, this is, I don't know why I picked this one. This is neither a swing low, nothing. I don't know, February 21. What happened to February 21? Nothing, I think. I think you are right. The 1877.3 is the nearest swing high. So my mistake. Thanks for correcting me, Ben. This is not never a swing high. So this one should be this one, 1877. Yeah. Make sense, Ben?
Yeah, it does to me now. Yep.
Yeah. So that gives us a little bit room to move up. Now we are in 1865. So if next week, it goes up to 1877.79, that's 120 points multiplied by whatever dollar per point you take, 10 or 100. That will be that much. Yeah. Alright, so if you are not having any other question, so I'll move on to the other favorite, which is the dollar index. Why dollar index? Whatever they say, interest rate, blah blah blah, inflation, blah blah blah. Why the dollar, US dollar cannot skyrocket? Because in their case, in that case, the trade balance of that entire country, which is the biggest, would be out of whack. So the import export will go out of sync, and that's why dollar index, even it is inflation or interest rate hike or anything, probably in my understanding, it can never go much up, never ever, possibly beyond this 12 to 129, which is 2001, or I don't know, because the chart is only showing 1985, which is 12905. So I cannot see the left hand side, although there is an arrow here, but it is not taking me to that arrow. So I would consider that as the highest point as of chart now. So possible resistance will be there on the yearly, although I cannot see the third bar on the left hand side, but considering that as a highest point, I can see that is the yearly resistance as 12905, and that 12129 was the highest, second highest, which is coming from the yearly, that was again this one, and now it is 10,1307. Look at the sell off from 11500. Look at the sell off from 11500, and what happens is, so if you draw Fibonacci from this to this, that was a 42% drop. Why we are going to this? Because price is here, we go to the next swing high, which is here, and then to the swing low from left to right. So if we join to that, it will be 78.6 or 88.6 or in between. So it is exactly went up to 78.6 and 88.6, and got a sell off, and then it actually closed below the COVID high, which is 10,396, the previous 2017 high of 10,380. So now these two, because their yearly line and price is below that point, so I can turn them into red, because they are resistances. So I'll change them to red. So now we have solid resistance from these two lines, which is around 396, 396, and then 380, 397. These are the two solid resistance for dollar index. And then I'll go to the whatever I'm talking on the dollar index is more from sentiment perspective, not sentiment. You can say that my understanding of trade balance of a country. So if the price, if the exchange rate of that country, especially for America, United States, if the currency United States dollar goes too high, then which one will be costlier, import or export? Something will be some business, import or export will be very 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 difficult for the business houses. So they will not allow, like Goldman Sachs or something like that, or any big like Amazon, or like Costco, or any Walmart, or any other Depot, whatever, Home Depot. They have they have tens of them, big ones, very 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 big. They will not allow possibly to their trade balance, import and export, to be damaged in such a way. So that is the only sentiment which I'm weighing more on this dollar index. Of course, I'm a technical trader, but the only fundamental I see that way. For gold, there is no new mine, there is no new mines, number one. For dollar index, the import and export trade balance will be a tremendous problem for the country itself. So we'll now go to the who believes this way, who believes trade balance can be an important factor, or any observations on that trade balance or new mines on the gold, or you heard it for the first time?
I think it's very valid, especially in regards to government bonds.
Yeah, Marty said is extremely valid and very valid, especially from the perspective of government bonds. Yeah. Their yield will go up, their yield is going up, and but the value is coming down. So that is another very important aspect which Marty actually touched upon. I was only talking about trade balance, import and export. Thanks, Marty, for opening up a new sphere of understanding the value of the bond, 10-year bond, 2-year bonds, whatever bond you are trading. And I know Marty traded a lot. And then one of them was the Excel, isn't it, Marty? Excel, like as in extra large. Sorry. Like T bond, like treasury bond. Yeah, 5-year, 5-year, 10-year. See, the problem with this is all the results is Excel only. Extra large, because they are United States, they are extra large. So whether it is 10-year note, but the charts are different. 10-year notes or 5-year notes, treasury notes. T means treasury notes, or T bonds, treasury bonds. The yields are going up. Let's start with this one. I'll come back to dollar index because Marty touched upon this. So 10-year T note, the 10-year T note, if it treasury note, if we can see from United States, it is now 11,400. Look at this, how unbelievable way Marty has pointed out this. I think there is some problem on this chart, but anyway, the look at this current value, which is 11,430. 11,430, if it is true, I don't know, I don't believe, sometimes I don't believe IG. Okay, let's see another one. So we'll go to Excel. Because of some adjustment, charts actually shows in a very this is a better one. This is a better one, and this is yeah, but the value was correct, 11,430, because they were dated contract. That is the problem with dated contract. That means March 2013 is the dated contract. So the value from 1984 is going up. Now the now has reduced down a little bit. So because of these reasons also, there is a humongous pressure on the treasury, not the Fed. They are different. On the treasury, to balance this import export. So we are concentrating on dollar index, and now we are in 10,357, and recently this is yearly, and then we'll go to the monthly. Monthly also close below, and this month is also trying to go up, but there are two yearly resistances which can be tremendous. And then I'll go to possibly yeah. So look at the struggle, look at the lines. None of them is holding good, isn't it? So I have to draw so many lines. What is this one? The low is here 10,307, and the low is 10,308. So there is a possibility of a head and shoulder, but I doubt very much. But anyway, I'll just go and draw this head and shoulder here. So, and then delete this line, and so between this and this, so now the neckline would be between this is the right shoulder, this is the head, and this is the swing high. So this will be the correct one. Or if I go up to this is the, yeah, even it has broken the neckline. So now if it is breaking this line, this is the most important line. So if dollar index in future, in coming future, the way it is coming down, my goodness, there is very little chance if I see this type of bar to do a crack and snap back. Of course, price can prove me wrong and go and do a crack and snap back, of course. But if it is breaking this line at 10,300, then there is a possibility of dollar index to go down, and hence euro to go up, and Aussie dollar to go up, and sterling to go up. And that's why you would see just by pressing one rice, as our mother used to do. So just by knowing dollar index, you can see what the Aussie dollar is doing. Dollar index coming down, what the Aussie dollar is doing, it is going up. It is going up, even it, yeah, it goes up. Now what to do with the Aussie dollar? So what to do is, because that was a tremendous, I think yesterday Ben was showing me some solid ranges of some other instrument, and I was saying that if this type of this thing happens, range market happens for a very long period of time. This is quite a period of time, because if I do this from here to there, it is 44 months. So the almost 44 bars, almost 2 months. Yeah. So this is one, and then the other one we can do from this swing high. I'm just joining the swing high to this swing low, and the third one is this swing high and joining the same swing low, and the swing low joining is this one, which is the lowest one. So there are three range of Aussie dollar, and if we believe that the dollar index is going down, then the Aussie dollar will possibly go up, and same thing will happen with euro and and the GBP USD. So euro USD, because in this case USD, which is the term currency, is going down, hence the base currency, which is euro, has to go up, and most probably, if I'm not wrong, it is going up, isn't it? So it is going up. It is going up after a great fall. It is going up now. Of course, it can go up to this and then come back, but for the time being, it is going up. And similarly, sterling, after touching the all-time low of 1.03, it is now back to 120. Yeah, so this is all-time low, and it has appreciated tremendous. So that was the 17%, it went up 20%. So that was all about the foreign exchange market as such, coming from the dollar index to the Aussie dollar, euro, and sterling. And do you have any question? So Marty has sent us a good website in the chat section. As you can see, this is the website, and he has written, thanks Marty, thanks a ton, link for an understanding of government bond. So we can click here and see what it is
The government
talking
does
about.
not care about housing affordability. Labour
Government
just
does
came
not
into the
care.
government recently, and the first thing they did was release this help to buy scheme. Now,
Keypads. Okay. 7 minutes video.
Earlier this week, the U.S. Treasury
Yep.
Department released
So
data that
in this
revealed that
video,
in September,
it's really
foreign
good. It
holders
shows the countries that are getting rid of all their debt towards the US, meaning that they believe that the US dollar is too strong and they need to get rid of their debt to actually be able to hold value within their country's currency. And this in turn comes back to gold and how the value of gold will be increasing. And as you watch the video, you will see how it all works. And it's a very good, interesting video.
Excellent, fantastic. Thanks for sharing this. So what you have to do, either you can bookmark this and then bookmark done, or you can copy and paste it in your favorite OneNote. Those of you who are using OneNote, extremely best software from Microsoft, I think, is OneNote, and I know we all know Microsoft from their DOS disk operating system level. So yeah, that's fantastic. So if we can of course spend 7 minutes time to listen to this. What do you think? Should I spend 7 minutes time to listen to this? Please vote. Anyone? Everyone? No one? Alright, so you are happy to watch this video when at your leisure, and then yeah, so my goodness, look at these dollars. If China started dumping, if Russia, if Russia has already dumped, Japan
So-
started dumping even United States dollar, and then the value of US dollar, that's my all-time fear. Anyway, that's fantastic. Thank you. Thanks a ton, Marty, for share. All right, your questions on anything, on bond, on dollar index, on foreign exchange contracts, on gold, or anything. Alright, so if not, then I'd probably give Marty 15 minutes before Kerry comes and start talking at around 4 o'clock. So Marty, if you don't mind, if you can take us through in this last 15 minutes with your interesting discussion on gold and bond and one China. Marty has written something on the China, so I'll request him to talk us through. Marty, please.
Yeah, so in regards to that countries unloading their government debt, US debt, They also buy gold to help strengthen their currency, to make it more of a safe haven as well. China has done the most with 400 tons of gold this year.
Oh, this year means 2023 or 20?
22, sorry.
Yeah.
And a lot of that came from Switzerland. They've been opening up new mines around the world to get as much gold as they can at the moment, which is pretty scary. So I guess I can just share my screen
Please.
for a second.
I have stopped sharing my screen so you can share. And you please come close. I know you are close to the mic. It may be my speaker. I hope everyone can hear Mati clear and loud. Yeah.
Hello. Can they hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So here we are looking at gold. I have a very similar analysis of Partha here, meaning that I believe there's still some upward pressure here before we will turn. I don't think there's possibly not too much pressure left, but we'll see. I know I posted these in the Discord channel. This is all wrong now, but I thought we're only going to come to 1833.43 here. I think the other interesting items I was looking at for this year would have to be the S&P 500.
Yes.
Well, any of these world indices, they're all pretty interesting, but we will check this fellow out. We have this monthly forecast, which is still holding valid and true. We still could come down this far here. So we've got this new swing high, which has formed just here on the monthly. We can come down to a daily time frame, and we have this sort of formation. We've got impulsive down and a corrective here. If this makes one more impulsive move down, this whole thing here will be the start of our next impulsive move all the way down to where we can see more waves in the direction down here. So the S&P could be coming down quite some more just yet. What did I have with the ASX? Was someone talking? No. Again, this we have impulsive up here, impulsive, and see how this is all real messy in here. We can see that this is some sort of correction. Again, this could be a possible new swing high here. Where we've got somewhat of a possible all buyers out with a lot of support and resistance all around here. If we can break through this with a few Fibonacci numbers as well, that might find it hard to break through this area where we can look for some selling opportunities in here. So this is on a daily time frame. If all this is one large A and this is one large B, which could be finished here, possibly come up to here, then C will be all the way down here. So that's a possible opportunity for this year. What else was I looking at? So that was the dollar yen here. So we can see the Japanese possibly dumping a lot of US debt here. And here we are coming down pretty solidly. Again, we have the same sort of situation where this is pretty strong and impulsive all the way up here. And now just our bars are starting to get a few tails and things in here telling us this is just a correction. It's possible that this is A, which has just finished. We do have some sort of an indecision bar here. This count of 9, so we have an A, B, and 9 waves to complete a C. This could be our total big wave A, could be complete here. So now we have this high, which has breached this swing high, meaning that this could be our first impulsive wave starting upwards. We've come up considerably already. So at NP Financials, if we find a opportunity which might not be as advantageous in making points, so if we can't make a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1 sort of take profit, then we would leave this opportunity until it looks more in our favor. Again, we have our first little impulsive wave 1 here. We have a 2. Oops. We will get rid of this. We'll put a 3 up here. Now what we are looking for is number 4. I like my 50% rule as part of demonstrated on gold. We can do our Fibonacci to look for some sort of area of interest here. We have 132.15. We can use another whole number like 131, could be interesting. 131. So we go on to our bigger time frames like the monthly and weekly, which are a lot stronger than this 1 hour. Maybe nothing there, but we can go here. We can go 130, looks something around here. 131. And we can see we have a few tops here lining up. We have something here and something here. So this could be somewhat of a good area to look for our buying opportunities. With the way it's looking now, this could be a good opportunity possibly this week, maybe next week. But if we want to find a trade to go long, we could consider this guy here. So much like yourself, Path, I didn't really see much this week or month to look at. We have oil still coming down a little bit more, possibly down to $68 here. Let's get rid of some of this rubbish. As we can see, we've got a 1, a 2, a 3, a possible 4 here. Where we will be looking for a 5 to be somewhere around $66, I believe. Oops. Has anyone got any questions or want to ask anything?
Yeah, Marty, do you see is potential double bottom there on the US JPY USD daily time frame?
On the
That may
US
turn into a head,
JPY.
yeah, turn into a head and shoulders if it keeps coming down and bounces again.
Okay, so you're thinking if we come down something like this, we'll see a head and shoulders, like shoulder, head, and shoulder. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, well, I'm seeing we're just sitting at the swing low going back to start of August at 130.4, which is pretty much right on your number 7 there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
Yep.
seeing the double bottom form there.
The double bottom, yes. I would. That's a good perspective, Ben. It's a very valid one. We have a perfect turning point formation of our candlesticks here. We've come down to some sort of support, so everything's happening in that regard. I'd be quite happy to see that as another positive opportunity to start looking for longs on this fellow here. And I wouldn't be too shy with your profit target either. That could go quite some way.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
What else can we look at? What else did we see?
Sorry to hog the microphone, but do you see
That's
anything
fine.
on DAX as well?
On DAX. Yeah, so this is a bit of a trickier one. So whatever this is here, it's not quite finished yet. This could be making another wave all the way up here for a C. Possibly B has been completed here. Yeah, it's a bit tricky, this one, Ben. A bit tricky.
Yeah, okay. I just saw there was a bit of fair amount of resistance at where it's sitting right now, and with Fibonacci as well.
Okay.
So yeah, thought if it can crack through, hopefully it just keeps on going.
Oh, you have a very valid 2 points there, Ben. Like with a monthly candlestick like this at that sort of area, I would look for, or wait till we see a bearish sort of candlestick here. Personally, that's what I would do, just to make sure that your level here is getting respected with your Fibonacci levels and your supports and resistances.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that.
What else? We had a good one on the Nikkei. So this one was posted in the Discord right around here. And we made quite a few points on this one. Again, when you see stuff like this on your charts, don't pay much attention to that. That's not good data. So revert back to your pro real time. The data on that's quite good. It's some of the best I've seen, actually. Especially for the longer term time frames. When you go to your yearly chart, you can really see a lot of data there. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Partha?
I just wanted to show this MT4. Is it the bonds? Can you take one of them, or no bond in the MT4?
No bonds in MT4. Not with 8 cap anyway.
That is the one limitation of MD4. I thought so. Otherwise, fantastic, brilliant analysis, Marty, and fantastic questions, Ben. I think if you have any questions to on any technical questions, you can ask now. You have 5 seconds to ask. After that, the floor will be there is the bell. I cannot do so. That's bell from the church. Alright. So I request Kerry to help us out. Kerry, please. You can
Hey,
share. You can share
can
your
everyone
screen.
hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Loud and clear.
Let's see if I can get this whole casting thing working again.
Your world-class presentation, Kerry.
Yeah, I can do that. Getting it
Absolutely.
like
You already demonstrated once. I've never seen PowerPoint presentation so amazing the way she did last time. Yeah.
it's one of my things that is nothing can be done in small amounts. It has to be full on.
Full on energy.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how many people are here that were the same from last time, but it's probably more involved in this one, so it's going to be fast. If I don't get to the end of it in the hour, maybe I can come back and do another one and finish it off. We'll see how things go.
Thank you, Kerry.
Okay, so today is less about the neuro part of things and a little bit more about the other aspects, which is a little bit more murky and a little bit more difficult because a lot of it is theory and not as much science and proof. So the same sort of thing though, it's about the balance that we have and what we can do with it. Okay, so today, looking at memory and learning, core beliefs, cognitive distortions. I don't know if anyone knows any of these. Conscious and subconscious, unconscious, goals and motivations, and boundaries, self-care, all of which are really, really important. When I was saying that, we weren't looking necessarily as much on the science, we are definitely looking at a science point of view and a neurology point of view, but we are also looking at more of the applied, so how this helps fix a problem that people have in everyday life. So it's great to know all of this, science and how our brain works, but how does that help you? And the theoretical side of things is very much what we feel, the basis of that applied sort of psychology, what we believe, like, is it, Freud, and it's all about your parents and whether you loved your father or mother or that sort of thing. For me, so everything is different for different people. I'm based very much on, as I said last time, Viktor Frankl and humanistic psychology. So for me, the past is really only used for gaining personal strengths or learning the life lessons and finding meaning and purpose, because meaning is pretty much everything. It's what drives us. We learn to appreciate the negative things that have happened to us because that's how we learn. And we change our focus from what's expected to what we are and what we can be. Just accept, not try and understand. Sometimes things you can't understand them. We have neuroplasticity. Somebody asked last time about NLP, I believe, which is neuroplasticity, just done in a different way. So it is really our brains are wired in a particular way based on past and those sorts of things, but we can change it depending on how much we want to, that sort of thing. Looking at Viktor Frankl, so one of his big things is that you have the freedom of will, the will to meaning and the meaning to life. So it means different things to different people, but for me, it's that you have to want to find meaning and a different purpose or a purpose You have to be willing to do what it takes to get there, and you have to be willing to actually stop and make the effort to go, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to be? Yeah, everyone has their own, or should have their own, whether it be a mantra or like a little verse or something that they say to themselves that helps them get through the events that they struggle through, negative events, different things. Everyone really needs to have something that they can say to themselves that will help. I don't know if anyone has heard of the Stanford prison experiment. The experiment was that they took a whole heap of college students, and for 2 weeks they were put into a fake jail. Certain people were given the role of a guard, others were given the role of a prisoner. And they just wanted to see how people's behaviour would change based on their role. And it was actually very, very surprising. So this was in 1971, before ethics really came in. So it was supposed to be 2 weeks. After, it actually was fully stopped after 6 days. And after 4 days, 3 people were released fully traumatized. People took on their role to the point where they actually started being submissive or being acting aggressive and things like that. It was just that role expectation that people took on, and what they expected, what they knew that a guard was like, or what they believed a prison guard was like, based on certain things. You needed to maintain different types of discipline, and you had to do these things. So, and the prisoners just took on that very submissive thing. They actually started to riot and things like that. And people ended up getting beaten. I believe there's about 6 people out of all of them that are right up until the very end were still traumatized and suffering PTSD. So why are people different? Which is actually a very significant thing, because everyone can go through the same situations and react differently. So it's what's inside of us. So the way we're built, all of our neurotransmitters, the way we are, the people with ADHD, ASD, different types of things, they have different things going on, so they just automatically react differently. We have our past experiences, or our little skeletons in the closet. They're the things that also teach us how to react to things, why we do things. All of these things create the wiring in our brain. So this is that MRI of our neural connections. Different people have different neural connections. Another experiment, Ben actually wanted me to put some experiments in here because they are very cool. So a cat experiment was actually designed, sorry, to look at what neural connections we had at birth and what needed to develop. So with the cat, and I actually did this experiment myself, you put a kitten from birth into a room that just has vertical lines, and then you take it out and see if it actually can see vertical lines or horizontal lines, or what happens. And initially, no, they can't actually see horizontal lines, so they run into a lot of things. But it doesn't take long for them to actually create the neural pathways, so they weren't traumatized for life or anything like that, for cat lovers. Okay, so looking at memories and learning. Memories, I believe, are probably the biggest aspect of everything in our daily life. They look at, how we have feelings for different things, not the emotions, the feelings, our decision making, how we learn things, life skills, relationships, beliefs. It covers nearly every aspect of our life. It's also one of the most fragile things that is in our brain. Usually, if a person has brain injury, memory and personality is generally the first thing to be affected. So our different types of memories. So, I think most people are aware of certain things, but we have our sensory memory. So that's, I suppose, just in the environment, figuring out what's important, those sorts of things. We also have our short-term memory. Now, short-term memory is the things that come in instantly. We take them in. They actually hold for 15 to 30 seconds, and we can only hold about 5 to 9 pieces of information in our short-term memory. Then we have our working memory. So this is actually us taking in information. This is us actually retaining it so we can work with it at a later date. We have flashbulb memories. So a flashbulb memory is something that you just remember. For me, and I can't choose why, but the Space Shuttle Challenger was one of those things that I remember clearly like it was yesterday. Everything about it is just there. And the Port Arthur massacre for me in Australia, that was huge. The tsunami in Indonesia on Boxing Day, I can't remember what year. Yet they're all things that really stick in my mind. We have our long-term memory, which is all of the things. It's pretty much bottomless. You can keep as many things in your long-term memory. You just don't have really any conscious or access aware of those memories. Putting all of those extra little bits in there, we also have a verbal memory and a visual memory. So obviously verbal memory is things that we hear. How much of what we hear do we remember? And what we see. How much of what we see do we remember? Do we put that all together? Those sorts of things. And then our learning. So yeah, our long-term memory for learning and things like that. So with the different parts, so we're looking at the neurology now. We have the different parts of our cerebral cortex that do different things. The chemicals and hormones that we have, they also play a part in the memories and our learning. And also our limbic system is also in particular involved in our learning and our memories.
Sorry, Kelly, if you just click on that hide button just below the brain, hide, just besides the stop sharing blue one at the middle,
Oh, okay.
hide. Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't see that, so thank you. Okay, so our cerebral cortex, that's our lobes. So what of our lobes are incorporated or included in memory in that? So our frontal lobe is memory, our short-term memory, decision making. It's what we learn, it's what we make that decision for. It's our working memory, what we take, how we use it, those sorts of things. It's it and the temporal lobe are the only things that are actually connected to the hippocampus and the amygdala, which I don't know if anyone remembers, but we'll get to that. The parietal lobe is our sensory information. That's our location in space, our environment, and the different objects, and what we're supposed to do with those different objects when we're there. So, if you want to make a cup of tea, you've got to go to the kettle, where your kettle is in your kitchen, those sorts of things. And, not to touch the hot water because it's going to hurt. Our occipital lobe, so that's obviously our visual memory and our visual learning. So what we see is what goes through and what we remember. The cerebellum is our basic long-term memories. Like people say, you know, if you've learned to ride a bike, you'll always remember how to ride a bike. You know, we're not born knowing how to walk, we have to learn. But after a while, we don't even think about it. We just do. Even eating. As a baby, we don't eat. We have to learn to eat. Our temporal lobe is probably the most important part when it comes to memory and learning. So it actually has the hippocampus and the amygdala in it, and it actually also has the thalamus and all of the bits that provide information to the other areas. So our chemicals and hormones. So our dopamine. Our dopamine is our motivation to learn. I don't know about anyone else, but there are days where I just can't be bothered. It's just not happening for me. It's also important because it actually has direct association with the hippocampus and the amygdala. And it also is needed for other neurotransmitters to actually move through the brain. Our serotonin is it's actually released in the hippocampus, so obviously very important. It's our arousal levels as well. It's whether we want to remember, it's how we remember. It's, again, essential for different neurotransmitters to actually use information to remember. Glutamate is another one. I didn't mention glutamate before. Glutamate is actually the thing that creates those flashbulb memories. It's highly emotional. So if it is responsible, I think, for about 90% of our intense emotional memories. It's actually really important because it can replace 4 other neurotransmitters. So if there's not enough of the other neurotransmitters, it can replace it to try and help with the actual process of remembering and learning and things like that. Noradrenaline and adrenaline as well, but noradrenaline is very important. Noradrenaline is really our arousal, our alertness, our attention. It's one of the things that helps us create cortisol. It's one of those things that actually makes us, I suppose, are we interested in learning anything at all? Are we there? Do we want to remember? Do we not care? Where do we go? And acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is probably the most, I would say, for me, important neurotransmitter. It is it's actually what's called a rest and digest, which isn't just food. It's actually your attention and actually being able to process the information and go through the whole thing. It looks after muscle memory and muscle movement as well. So for you to be able to stop long enough to be able to listen and pay attention to things, it is actually one of the neurotransmitters that's essential or is an issue for people with ADHD, which is why they have difficulty sitting still. Well, some, I will say some, have difficulty sitting still, paying attention and learning, things like that. And of course, our good old friend cortisol, which is our arousal levels, are things, emotional based as well. Is it something that is going to create more of that bottom up thinking? Are we going to remember things more, I suppose, in a hysterical way? So our brain, our limbic system. So our amygdala attaches the emotional meanings to things. It decides whether it's a threat or not a threat, things like that. It decides whether things are important enough to remember. The hippocampus, obviously, everything is pretty much stored in the hippocampus, and that's where it gets filed. It's like a big filing cabinet, and hopefully it's filed correctly. The hypothalamus is that part of the fight or flight. So with the hypothalamus, it then stimulates pituitary gland, which then creates obviously the cortisol and things like that. Cerebellum, as I was saying before, is actually all of our long-term memories that are just memories that we don't think about. And the prefrontal cortex, which the prefrontal cortex is the part of the frontal lobe that we actually use for memory, because the frontal lobe actually is for a lot of other things as well, including, you know, your personality and things like that, which they found out with lobotomies, which was another interesting experiment. Okay, so this is a type of learning or memory that most people don't know about. Situational or state-dependent memories. So they're memories that you basically only remember when you're back in that situation. I think my best example of that is childbirth, really, or being a parent. Who would go back and do it again if they remembered what it was like the first time? And it's not until afterwards that you go, oh my God, that's right. Did I really do this to myself? But, you know, for everybody, that can be different things. You know, some people go through riots or different things in their, you know, their towns, their countries, their environments, and that affects them. It could be domestic violence or childhood violence. It could be health issues, things like that. It could be doing stupid sports. Yeah, my brother's really big for that. Even when you're trading, yeah, sometimes there's those moments where you go, what the hell? Why didn't I remember that? I should have seen that coming. But, you know, maybe you just didn't because you didn't remember it until you were in the situation again. That these sorts of memories, or car accidents, are obviously very important in that as well. These are the sort of things, this is why a journal is so important, because you don't remember them at the time. And you don't want to lose your head, because it always happens. You feel like your head's going to explode at the end of it. And yeah, not fun. Different types of learning. So there are different types of learning, obviously. Some people need to see things. So they actually need to, say, sit in a classroom and see what the teacher is doing, or watch videos, watch the process, that sort of thing. We have, so reading and writing, like a person who does it themselves. They like to read, they like to write, they prefer to do those sorts of things rather than sitting there listening to somebody talk, or rather than looking at somebody putting something on a board. There's the verbal, so just listening to somebody. Some people don't learn by seeing, they just learn by hearing. Online learning is one of those new things that's coming through, obviously, you know, more so because of COVID. It wasn't there before as much where it is now. And the other one is kinesthetic. I always get that wrong. You really have to do it yourself to be able to learn and find out what the mistakes are. So the process of our memory is, so we have the situation or the environment, which then we have our sensory memory. So what's important, what's not. Our sensory memory then decides what is important. If it's not, it kicks it out and it doesn't go any further. We then have our short-term memory, and that's the things that we basically hold in there for that 15 seconds, those sorts of things. And then our experience tells us whether it's important or not. And then it decides whether we need to keep it or not keep it. Then it's a matter of practice or repetition. So then if it's decided that it's relevant and we need to keep doing it, then we have the practice, repetition. Remember, I think everyone says practice, practice, practice. Well, that is the only thing that actually then gets it through to the long-term memory, which is where you need for long-term learning and actual use. So if you were to look at perhaps an example that might relate to you guys, is that, say you're looking at something and you're seeing charts, you're seeing something, and the information is taken in through whether you're hearing it or seeing it or whatever the case is. So it's the sensory memory. Whatever's relevant is then taken in and the information is assessed, which is then your short-term memory. You then draw on your past experiences, like everybody that you've had, like every you that's ever had anything to do with that, all sits at a table and has a chat, and they decide what is best to do, what not to do. It then becomes your working memory, and you make a decision on what to do with that once you've actually put it all together. And then you actually have more memories, because you then look at what's going to happen, what has happened, was it good, was it bad, that sort of thing. Last time there was somebody who actually asked about trauma. So trauma, well, anyone who's been through some sort of trauma knows very well that all of a sudden it just seems like your brain's just not working, not happening, it's just done. I myself have had a serious trauma. I had with my accident, and I know that it was like everything just left my brain. I think the important thing to remember about trauma is that it's different for everybody. And even the things that are considered trauma are different to everybody. So the actual true definition of trauma is anything that makes a person feel that there is a threat to their life, their way of life, their beliefs, their values, anything that is significant to them. And that can be anything. Cyclone Debbie, when we had it here, there were people who simply had issues with their housing and their food, and because they'd never had a problem with that, well, that was more significant to them, or just as significant to them, as people who completely lost their house. And you can't judge that. That's just a personal thing. It's based on what a person's worst experience is. With trauma, though, it creates an issue with the actual development of your brain. So, well, there's our little zombie poking at his brain. It's not working. And you go to work and you do things and it's just not working for you. With the brain, it actually shrinks the size of the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex. It actually shrinks it. It's very interesting. And which then affects, obviously, the neurotransmitters. So it actually affects the neurotransmitters, all of the neurotransmitters that have to do with learning and memory, which is obviously why there is a lot of issues with people who have suffered trauma, people with who have been in domestic violence situations. I used to work with a lot of kids who were removed from their parents' care. And there's an organisation that actually helps them learn because they do have learning issues. And if you're not careful, trauma can chase you around and it can stop you from moving forward. It can actually stop you from reaching that success. You do need to let it go, which is easier said than done, I know. But you can do it, and you can be a very happy zombie in the process. All right, so the optimum band of arousal is actually very important as well. So the optimum band of arousal is where we work. If you are outside of it, if you are under it, that means that you're sluggish. You're not doing the right thing. You're overly cautious. You're not focusing on things properly. You're not analyzing things properly. You're not doing what you need to do. If you're above it, and if your arousal levels are too high, you tend to be more too risk-taking. You're not paying attention. You're not doing what you should be doing. You're not analyzing things enough. You're just working on pure that instinct and no evaluation and assessment. And to actually work and to succeed and to be the best you can be, you actually have to be in that state of just like the meh emoji. They're just kind of like a state of nothingness. It's just, you go in and it's just like whatever is there, and you'll just follow prompts and follow your analysis and just do whatever it takes. You don't want to go in thinking, I'm great, I'm positive, everything's awesome. And you don't want to be going in there thinking, you know, I'm not getting any further ahead, I'm not doing anything, hopefully today will be better. You just want to be going in there with that empty blank, whatever, sitting down, looking at what's there today, and not worrying about anything else. Core beliefs. I don't know if anyone actually has really heard too much about core beliefs. They're the things that we instinctively think about ourselves. Yeah, really, I believe we're in a culture of judgment. We judge ourselves. We don't need anyone else to bring us down. We bring ourselves down quite well. We are in an, well, I'm not sure. There's a lot of people international here, but I suppose I can only talk of Australia because that's where I am. But it's difficult. You're not supposed to be proud of yourself. You're not supposed to be proud of your achievements, because then, you know, you're judged as being stuck up or those sorts of things, which is wrong. It's not fair. So we tend to actually just automatically come in with our core beliefs of judging ourselves. So one of the big things is that it's our thoughts and assumptions on ourselves. Automatic thoughts. So do this, not getting any further ahead. What am I doing? You know, I should just be sitting back. Nobody's going to care. Those sorts of things. We have, so core beliefs shape our behavior. The way we act is obviously based on how we think about ourselves, the way we interact, the way we do things. If we have faith in ourselves and we know that we are capable of doing something, then we'll give it a really good shot. But that's where really that fear to fail is. So it guides our social interaction. I am terrible with social interaction. I doubt myself all the time. It's terrible. There are negative and positive core beliefs. It's based on your life experience and the things that you have been told in the past, that you have experienced in the past. There is a cycle. So you do things, it's with the behavior, it's a cycle of things that you do and reactions that occur that reinforce those beliefs or challenge the beliefs. And it guides our development. If we think badly of ourselves, then we're obviously not going to move forward because we just keep thinking badly. So a really good example of that is the self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. But we have a belief about ourselves, which then affects the way our actions, and the way we do things and what we do, which then changes the way other people feel about ourselves or the situation and the way things, the result of things. It then, other people's actions then change as well, and then that then reinforces our beliefs about ourselves, and it's a big cycle that goes around and around and around. You know, people who think they're going to fail, a lot of times they have the opinion that they're going to fail, so they don't do the work that they need to do because they're afraid that if they do and they try their best and they're not going to do well, then they're going to fail. So because they're not doing it, they fail, which then reinforces the belief that they're going to fail, which is quite confusing, but it's actually also makes sense. So cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortion is, it's a number of different things that makes us not pay attention to what there is. So it's thoughts and the causes of the thoughts. So discounting the positives. So you look at the things only that are bad and you figure out all the things that are good that are happening in life. Fortune telling. Well, because one thing happens, everything's going to be like that. Everything. It's going to be like that every single time. catastrophizing. It's like every time I get on a plane, it's the plane is going to crash, and oh my God, every time I invest in something, it's going to go badly because everything's been bad in the past. And oh my God, overgeneralizing is very much the same thing. So every time I do this, it's going to happen because of these things. Every single time, it always happens. I think a lot of people in the relationships actually have that. You always do this, you always do that, or you never do this. Discounting your ability, a lot of people just think is luck. That's not luck. You need to look at your abilities and whether you can and whether you can't. And you'll find that so much of your past is, or so many of your successes are because of you, not because of the luck. Black and white thinking is a really big issue. It's one or the other. There's never any gray area in between. It's either win or lose. It's either make money or not make money. It's nothing about, the importance of maybe coming out, even learning a lesson. You might lose money, but is there a positive that you've learned a lesson from it? Is there something else that's happened because of it? Blaming and denying your own fault in everything is also one of the things that a lot of people do. It's always somebody else's fault. It's easier to explain that than try and figure it out yourself. And mind reading, you know what everyone else is doing. That's a psychology thing. And I actually fell trapped to that myself once, which was not fun. I learnt my lesson well and truly. So cognitive dissonance and a cognitive bias. So cognitive dissonance is you only side with what you're comfortable with. So you disregard everything else. So there's an elephant in the room and you're just not paying attention. You don't want to know the elephant because the elephant is going to make you question yourself and whether you're any good. The bias is that you see everything that is there, you make what you want to see. You want to see that, that's what it's going to be, regardless of whether it really is that or not. And obviously that doesn't work very well either, because you're missing the real point. You're missing the real facts, and it's going to end badly for you. I don't know if people know about conscious, subconscious, unconscious. Again, this is one of those theoretical things. So the conscious mind, if I'm looking at the aspect of the theoretical psychology that I follow, so the conscious mind is what we work with every day. It's what we know. It's what we actually are aware of. It's our, say, short-term memory. It's the things that we do and the things that we use. It's actually not, it doesn't have a lot of willpower. It just sort of goes with the flow. Our subconscious is the things that aren't conscious straight away. So like the words of a song. You can hear a song and you think of it and you can start singing the words. And then after that you go, oh, I know this song. And you can actually start thinking consciously of the words, but you didn't think about them before. So it's the things that aren't conscious, but can become conscious very quickly. That's actually 95% of our daily functioning, working on theoretical point of view. It is where our values, it's where our core beliefs are, it's where our cognitive understanding of things, it's where pretty much everything is. And it's that thing that goes between the conscious and the unconscious. So the unconscious is what the subconscious and unconscious are, our long-term memories. So the unconscious are basically just the things that we never think about. We just don't think about them. If we do start thinking about them, it goes up into the subconscious before it goes any further. So there is this pretty little thing called a critical filter. The critical filter is a thing that actually takes information and it stops it from going between the conscious and the subconscious. So when you have a core belief that you can't do it or you never get ahead, and information comes in and you go, wow, I can do that after all, your critical filter will actually stop that information going through to your subconscious because it goes against the values that it sees. The critical filter it's what actually allows information to go between the subconscious and the conscious. It's more of a one-way filter. It allows pretty much everything to go back out, but it rejects a lot of information that goes in, because anxiety is really, it doesn't like anxiety. Nobody likes anxiety. You don't want the anxiety of your beliefs to be challenged, and that means, you know, you have to actually do work, or you have to decide that you're wrong, or those sorts of things. So what does this mean for you? I suppose it means that when you're sitting there and you're deciding what you're going to do in any part of your life, you're going to have that, okay, well, you know, this has happened before and this is really good and I'm going to do this. And then there's a part of you that goes, no, you're not going to do that, because all these things happened in the past and it's not going to work for you. And it doesn't matter what you know has happened, what's happened 30 seconds ago. It's irrelevant. The critical filter will stop it from going through, and it will stop you from changing your beliefs and your values, that sort of thing. So the interesting part, how you can help. My favorite thing is a dummies guide to me. I love the dummies guide to me. I'd say that for everybody, even in relationships, you need a dummies guide to the other person. It's just great. In that, you put your core beliefs, you put in there your triggers, which is like, you know, what puts you in your band of arousal, above or below, or whatever happens.
Can people hear me still? Because I think my headphones are about to actually...
Yeah, absolutely. We are spellbound. We are listening.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. Okay, that's cool, because they ran out and obviously it's just deferred back to the computer. Okay, so the dummies guide to me, I love the dummies guide to me. I think it's perfect. It's amazing, not just for yourself, but give it to other people. Hand it around. Saves a lot of issues. Also, your journal for your trading and all those sorts of things. You know, you need to know yourself, but you also need to know all of your things that come with your trading and the different things that you do wrong, the things that are great. Learn about yourself is the most important thing. So there's actually a few things here. So, you know, problems, goals, what happened, what didn't work, what happened as a result, those sorts of things. And I love the pooch. So the pooch is your problem solving. So it gets you to think ahead of different things. So what things might go wrong, you know, what could be the outcome, those sorts of things, which is really good, I think. The other things, so looking at the bigger picture, so the bigger picture isn't just what people call the bigger picture for their goals. It's also looking at not just what's directly in front of you. So different aspects of life are going to affect one particular aspect. It's not just about what's in front of you. So what's in front of you right now is not only affected by that same thing that happened yesterday or that thing that happened 10 minutes ago. There's so many things around you that can affect that. I think a large part of that is like people use what happens in the news yesterday to predict what's going to happen today. Well, you can't do that. You have to look at what's happening right now in your environment and not worry about what's happening in the future or what's going on in the past. You just right now, big picture of what's happening now. Again, the things that affect you, what happens now that sends you over the top isn't necessarily the problem. It could be just that straw that broke the camel's back. That thing that was just that last drop that sent you over the edge that you couldn't handle anymore. Again, the elephant, you can't just ignore things because you don't want to see them, because you don't want to address them. It doesn't work. There are paths and walls in every aspect of life. What you do with that is up to you. You can go around, you can go through, you can go under, you can go over, but if you stand there and let it block you, well, that's your choice and only your choice. Having too many roles that you give yourself, we all have a lot of roles in any regard for different aspects. We have our own, and then we have maybe our work, and then we have possibly family and social, and there's so many different hats and faces that we have, and it's hard to keep track of, but we need to make sure that we don't give ourselves too many. Again, we are our own worst enemies. We will stab ourselves in the back before anyone else does. So, when you have those automatic thoughts, those negative thoughts, you need to counter them with the positive ones straight away. I'm not good enough. Well, I am, because those sorts of things. You need to counter it immediately with the opposite, because we're trying to rewire our brain so our brains automatically go to a different response. Understanding that learning, success, life it's evolution. It is all evolution, and there's nobody can just jump straight up. Again, we have our skeletons in our closet. We don't allow the memories of the past to influence us, because with every new day, and I've mentioned it before, is, we make a new path. So with every new decision, with every new thing today, you're sitting here and hopefully you've learned something at some stage that will then influence what you do tomorrow, which will then make everything that's happened before today irrelevant, completely irrelevant. And needing to keep your thoughts in order, which is, again, easier said than done. You also need to control what you can control. You can't always control, no matter how much you want to. You can't control everything. Sometimes just consequences happen that you weren't expecting. You get squashed because you just wanted to eat. Saying no to other people is actually really important as well. Just saying no, even to yourself. Sometimes just saying no. Listening to people. Something I have learned is that there is no person that you can't learn from. It doesn't matter who they are. I learn from kids that I see, things that I would never have thought of. And it's important to never stop learning, to always be open. Don't let people push you in a direction. Don't compare yourself. Your situation, everything about you is different to another person's. The way they grew up, their responses, everything is different. So what works for them doesn't work for you. Don't compare yourself. Just do your own thing. Good ideas and bad ideas, well, you learn your mistakes, and what's a good idea or a bad idea? Who knows? Just because you might not be right doesn't mean that you're wrong. Different perspectives. Making sure you get out and you do things. There's a lot of things, things like vitamin D are really important for certain neurotransmitters to work. So making sure you get out, it's also that self-care. And formal learning if you need to. Just go out. Formal learning, do whatever courses you can, do what you need to, and looking after yourself. Hypnosis. So I do clinical hypnosis myself, and what the hypnosis is that I do, because it's different to standard hypnosis, is that it actually gets rid of the critical filter. So it transfers from the conscious to the subconscious, so you can actually make changes and you can put new information in without that filter stopping things, so you don't go any further ahead. boundaries. We're actually really close to finishing up the time. Partha, did you want me to stop and maybe start new another time?
Absolutely, I'm okay with that. Anyone else having any comment or any questions for Kerry?
No question.
It's wonderful. I think it's so engrossing, and it will be easy. It will be better to break it down, and then let us digest all these things so far.
Yeah, because there was a lot there.
So for the first time, I probably come to know personally that there is a difference between the subconscious and the unconscious, isn't it? Is that the thing?
What was that? Sorry.
The difference between subconscious. First of all, there is a difference between subconscious mind and unconscious mind. Unconscious mind is something like we learn to walk, learn to eat, learn to drink, something like that, and subconscious is something else, isn't it?
Yep. So the subconscious is it is a part of our unconscious mind. The conscious is the thing that we use. It's like our working memory. It's our short-term memory. It's when I'm doing this, so I know that, okay, I'm going to use the computer, I'm going to do these things. I've actually got that in my mind, what I'm going to do and what I'm going to use. We need to pull information from our long-term memory or our unconscious mind to be able to do things. So there's a person who, say, has learned another language, say Korean, I don't know, as an example, because I actually had somebody that did that. They had learned, say, Korean as a young child and hadn't used it for a long time. And they needed to use it all of a sudden. And they freaked out because it was just gone. But they needed to give themselves a little bit of time. And then it all came back up. It just needs to filter through upwards. And the subconscious is the thing that actually slowly brings things up into the conscious. Otherwise, yeah, you can't have every experience you've ever done just floating around in your conscious mind. There has to be something that's sort of evaluating what you need at a particular time and what you don't need at a particular time. And I often say it's like little tabs. You kind of like have a little tab with a string that goes down into your long-term memory, and when you need it, you just sort of like pull it back up. Or you know, files on your computer. You know that particular file is there. If I need it, it could have like 3 gigabytes of data in it, but you know that the file is there, and you just click on that if you need it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, that was brilliant, excellent. So, any last question to Kerry or Marty, or not to me? Anyone? Now everyone can unmute and then talk. Right, so I don't think anyone having any question. Long session. Alright, fantastic. Thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate, Kerry, for your wonderful presentation, lovely demonstrations, and time and effort you have put into this, especially on a New Year holiday period. And then I thank all of you for your time, and now I hope that the next 1 month will go well with trading and your well-being, and then we'll again come back in the the month of February, when we are not doing on the 5th, we'll be doing on the 12th this masterclass again, I think. Yeah, so those of you who are having sessions will continue to have from 9th to 18th, and then Marty will take over and then help, and then yeah, so have a good one then. Thank you. Bye for now.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.